cheese and crackers, or peanut butter and crackers, or potato chips, or cheeses, and a beer, of course, to flush it down. So, bad habit that I got. But, I eat one basically protein meal a day. Usually some kind of egg dish or a beef dish or a chicken dish, with nothing but vegetables and the protein. But eat the carbohydrates the rest of the day and snacks. So
Okay, how is everyone doing? I'm going to be making I'm going to be making a couple different antennas to go along with my radios. Now, I have done this before in a previous video, but I'm not totally sure. Whenever I had switched channels a couple years ago or created a new channel and I migrated all my videos, for some reason I cannot find it in any of my archives or any of my backups, but I had created a video where I had made a loop antenna. Now, there's different kinds. There's your magnetic loop, there's your tuning loop, and this is a variation of an AM loop antenna. And I'll show you guys, I'm actually going to draw it out for you guys here, but I wanted to show you some of the hardware that I got to start me off here. These are some flat brackets that I got. Most of this stuff I got at Home Depot. Here's some L-mount brackets, 2 by 5/8? Yeah, 2.5 inches on each side, and that's for something else. But so these two pieces right here, actually these 4 pieces I got at Home Depot. These are 3 feet by 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, and these are 0.75 inches. And these, you can see how thick these are right here. Now these 2 pieces I actually got at Hobby Lobby. These are 3 feet by 1 inch by 1 inch. Now, I'm not totally sure what antenna I'm going to start off building. I think I'm going to do the flat tuning loop. I don't know if there's an actual name for it, other than it's just a AM tuning loop antenna. But I'm going to do some planning here real quick. The first thing that I'll actually end up doing is drilling the holes, and then I'm going to stain this wood so that at least it looks halfway decent. And then I'll go from there, so yeah. Okay, I've got this Canvas application open up here, or it's called Concepts, but I'm going to be kind of drawing around and showing you guys exactly what it is I'm doing. So this is going to be a flat tuning loop, if I haven't already stated in sort of the intro of my video. So I've got, like I said, I got 6 pieces, and I'm going to be starting with these 2 of these 1 by 1 inch pieces of wood here that I got from Hobby. I got them from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to be doing some kind of crude drawings here. So basically, what a tuning loop antenna is it can null out signals from the side. So this is just a really crude, super crude drawing here. So to my knowledge, the actual pattern of a receiving loop is something sort of like this, and these is where your signals will come in on the sides. So basically it's receiving it from the edges of the antenna. If you rotate this, so let's pretend the signal is coming directly at it, like if we were looking at it right now, that would be called the null. So anything on the sides it wouldn't receive, but anything where these actual loop parts is, that's where the signal comes from. So let's say, so I'm in kind of sort of central Oklahoma. So let's say I have a signal coming from California, and I have the antenna pointed this direction, meaning it'll receive it. Now let's say I have a signal coming from Chicago. It may not receive it because I haven't nulled out in that direction. Now if I was to rotate it 90 degrees, where this side is pointing in this direction, it would pick up Chicago and sort of cancel out the California signal on AM radio. That is the most basic way I can explain it. There are different loop antennas that will have different receiving patterns, but this is the most basic way. I'm pretty sure how it works. I'm not an expert with this stuff, so I do know that that's a very basic way of how it works. I've got a couple different antennas that I'm going to be working on, but I'll do separate videos for those. And I've got some other antennas that I'm sort of just going to play around with and just experiment and kind of see, what something would pick up. Like I think I'm going to do this one helical antenna that will have a tuning capacitor on it. But so let's do more baseline and show you guys exactly what it is I'm going to try and work on. So here's the base of the antenna, and I will draw this as carefully as I can. Not really, but here is, man, that is terrible. That is a terrible, terrible drawing. Okay, so let's do it this way. We'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just pretty much drew the same thing. I'm trying to follow these squares that are already on this piece of paper. So there is the basic base or the structure of the antenna. So on each, between this point and this point is about 2 feet. From here to here, it's about 2 foot long. At least that's the one that I'm gonna try and build. So basically, that's about from here to here, here to here, that's 8 foot, and it's going to end up totaling about 96 foot of actual wire. Now, I'm actually going to end up doing this 12 turns, even though I've already drilled the holes for 20 turns, because I didn't actually have enough wire, but I settled on 12 turns because I was doing some research, and it seems like you don't want to have too many turns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill all the holes on each corner of each point. And what you'll end up doing is you'll take the wire and you'll route it through each one of the holes. So you'll start at this one, go to this side, and you'll keep doing that in a spiral formation until you reach 12 turns. Let me actually mark here. 12 turns. Let me erase some of this. So you have 12 turns of wire. So let me import that picture of this that I had. This is a air variable tuning capacitor. And this is what's going to go on the... Okay, listen here. Let me cooperate. This is what's going to go on the base of the antenna. So we'll put this probably right around here. And what you're going to do is we're going to pretend like this is our spiral. Okay, the actual tuning part. What you're going to do is you're going to attach one end of the spiral to the point of the actual tuning capacitor, which has the poles on it. Then you're going to attach the other end of the spiral or tuning loop to the shield or ground of the tuning capacitor, or common. The casing is something that a lot of other people call it casing ground. I always refer to common or shielded items as ground. It's just something that I have gotten in the habit of doing. I always call it ground. You can argue with me, but that's what I call it. So I hope this makes sense. So basically, we'll pretend like this right here. This is our tuning loop, which is this right here. All of that is going to connect to the capacitor itself, and that is the tuning part of the antenna. Now, on the back side, I'll do another crude drawing here. You're going to have the actual receiving part of the antenna. And this is going to come down. You can wind this in a helical formation or use some sort of shielded cable. Or a lot of people say it's best to just use like a twin pair of wire that comes and connects to the actual receiving loop. Some people say that if you use shielded or wind the wire, it'll affect your capacitance. I have a tendency to just wind it or use shielded wire just because I like things to look nice. At least I try to make them look nice. So this is the part that will actually connect to your radio. And you can put like a PL259 connector. That is a horrible PL259 drawing. So you could put like a PL259 connector on there. What I'm going to end up doing on mine is use a spring-loaded speaker connector. A lot of times you can actually find those spring-loaded connectors on the back of some older radios, like I think the ICOM R75 had one. I know there was a Yaesu that had some spring-loaded connectors, but I just got this from an old speaker box, and I will end up putting this on the back of the antenna where this will connect to the helical wind or the wire that I end up using, and then I can actually put some sort of coax or whatever on the back of the radio. It'll make sense once you actually see it all put together. Now, this air variable capacitor, you can get these in various different radios. I know you can find some in some older AM FM radios. You can find them in shortwave. This is an air variable capacitor right here. They come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, configurations. The one that I'm going to use is more like this one right here on the left hand side. And I did not turn. Let's turn that back on. It'll be more like this one right here. Is going to have your two different sections. I actually end up connecting those sections together. Now, another kind of variable capacitor you can use is something called a polycap or a plastic capacitor. Now, it's not actually plastic, it's just that the casing is plastic. There's the metal little tuning caps that are on the inside of it. And you can find these in like portable transistor radios. They're even in some larger radios. These will work just fine. The reason I don't like to use them is just they're not built as sturdy and not as robust. And a lot of times they don't have a very good mounting mechanism for it unless you're going to use some sort of circuit board. Because a lot of times those poles that you see on the edges, that will mount to like a circuit board. So I'll go back to my drawing here. So that will connect to the actual tuning loop, this capacitor right here. It'll connect to this tuning loop, and that's what actually tunes your signal. And then this part is the actual receiving part that will go on the inside of the actual loop antenna. And then this part is the part that connects to the radio. So I hope this makes sense. I hope it all comes together and actually kind of shows exactly what it is I'm talking about and how it works. I'll be doing a couple different antennas, like I said, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm not an expert at this. I just know what I have played around with in the past and what has worked for me. And I hope once I actually add all the rest of the video to this video, it will all come together and make sense. Okay, so I've got the wood here cut down. So this long piece is the 3-foot piece right here. And then I've got these that I cut down an inch. Well, technically it'd be like a 1/2 inch off of each side, so that when I put it together, it's an even 3 feet all the way across. So I drilled the holes. I did 21 holes on each of them, except for the bottom. I put a couple extra so I can run the wires through to route it down. That way it has somewhere to sit. And then I also drilled the single holes here for the actual receiving loop of all of them. So now what I'm going to do is stain them. I'm going to stain them with this early American stain, and then I'll show you guys after I'm done with this part. Okay, so here is the antenna. I've got it stained now. This was actually early American stain mixed with a stain called Jacobine, or I'm gonna call it Jacobine, and it has actually just a touch of gray in it. I know the camera isn't really doing it that much justice, but ignore some of the imperfections I have on here. I got to go through and touch it up, and I'm actually going to be putting a little plaque right here of sorts to mark, you know, the number or series of antenna that it'll be. So I just use some screws on the inside here, and then I use these little brackets just to kind of reinforce, you know, them to keep them from snapping. I don't have all the proper tools to actually do serious woodworking, but I thought it was pretty, you know, just something pretty good that I did. So yeah, I'm going to actually now start routing all of the wire through, and you will see once I get that part finished up. So as you can see, I've got the variable capacitor right here. This knob was from a leftover radio, and I actually ended up going with 12 turns for two reasons. I was doing a little bit of research, and I was reading, and a lot of people were saying you don't want too many turns as far as the actual tuning loop, and then I also ran out of wire. So there's that. There's the inside receiving part, and on the back side I put just one of those speaker connectors that you typically see on the back of, you know, speakers. And then I've got the wire that comes up, goes around. This is just to keep it tight so it doesn't come loose. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. This capacitor that's on it, I don't know the actual value of it. I know it is a little bit higher than, or a little bit lower than 365, which is a common one that is used for this type of antenna. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of a demonstration here once I get everything cleaned up, and let you guys take a listen and see how it works. Now, the idea behind this kind of antenna is it is supposed to, I'll try and draw like a little chart or show you guys. The idea is that you can null out interference or other signals. And I've messed with this kind of antenna before, and it works amazing. You can actually pick up stations that you would not otherwise get on a long wire or just a whip antenna. And you can actually rotate it like this to actually null out or cancel out interference in other stations that you may not want to listen to. So it's really cool. The sun will be setting here pretty soon. I'll try and do a demonstration once I get all of this set up and let you guys listen to it. So I've got the antenna going right now. Hopefully you guys can see this. So right now I'm on AM 1500, and I'm going to rotate the antenna, and you'll see it pick up the signal a little bit better. Try and do this. So you can see I rotated it about 90 degrees. And then you can also tune it. It's a tuning capacitor. And now you can see almost no signal. This is usually, the way it works is the lower frequencies are usually about where it is now. Turn it up for the higher frequencies. Okay, so here's a way better example. I've got it on 1080 AM, and if I rotate it, right now it's just picking it up because I'm moving around right here. But if I rotate it about 45 degrees, so right now you can see I've got it tuned to about in between 1420 and 1490, and you can see it's picking up quite a few different stations. But right now it's centered on 1440. If I go to 1470 on the radio and turn the capacitor up just a little, you'll see turn the volume up here. It's extremely sensitive. Let's go down to 1660. A lot of these are stations in a different language. I don't have a schedule on me right now. That's 1360. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this antenna that I made. I'm going to be experimenting with some more antennas. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will explain more in detail. I will put in a snippet of my actual plans that I'll do on my iPad. So hopefully it makes more sense to you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know. I am not an expert with this stuff. I just know I've built a couple of these kinds of antennas in the past, and I know it works really, really well for AM radio. Also, probably the 160 meter band for ham radio, and beacon finding. As far as like if you go down here to like 230 kilohertz. Yeah, I'll do more videos with this antenna in the future, but right now I just wanted to get it built to show you guys, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it.